Last week everybody mocked him. Said he was 5'7" and a reason Ten Hag subbed him. They said he couldn't make it in the Prem, everybody gonna outjump him. They call Martinez the butcher, now look nobody's laughing. What? Last week everybody mocked him. Said he was 5'7" and a reason Ten Hag subbed him. They said he couldn't make it in the Prem, everybody gonna outjump him. They call Martinez the butcher, now look nobody's laughing. Hold up, let me tell you something. Lissandro putting that work, so I can't fault him on one thing. I was there giving man on-course. Did you see Jadon Sancho make Milner electric slide on a dance floor? Did you see Jadon Sancho make Milner electric slide on a dance floor? What? Yo, this is the OT99 bantering where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. Look, we're back again with another show. Finally, guys, you've got a win. Finally, we've got a win over Liverpool, and what better way to get a win than against your arch nemesis, your arch rivals. I'm so gassed. All of the Liverpool fans out there are silent. They're all stressed. But before we get into the details, Edwin, NK, how are you? Edwin, let me start with you, man. How are you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm happy to be back. You know, good time to come back. How you guys doing, man?
Edwin does I don't like how Edwin is moving. You know, he only come when we win, bro. He only come when we win, bro. That's not nice.
Edwin took a sabbatical, blood. He took a sabbatical, fam.
Sick leave, man, until we came back to it.
Look, I don't blame you. Look, NK, how you feeling, man?
Well, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. You know, I'm not going to let United stress me, bro. Never.
Look, I can see smiles. It's been a long time since we've been able to smile on OT99, man. And like I said, man, Liverpool gave us pure joy. So let's get into it. Look, Manchester United started with a lineup, and the lineup was looking good. We saw Maguire get dropped. We see Malacia get dropped. We see...
No, Malacia started.
We saw Shaw get dropped. We see Maguire get dropped, and we see Ronaldo get dropped. NK, what was your thoughts on that?
And Fred get dropped, bro.
And Fred. We've got our personal stuff about and Fred. Look, what was your thoughts about this, NK, when you saw the lineup and saw the likes of your captain, Maguire being benched, and Edwin's favourite being benched, and Ronaldo and all of these, man? What's your thoughts?
You know what? I don't know if I said it online or offline last time, but after that game, I said that if that manager don't make changes here, I mean, I love the manager, but I'm gonna start questioning one or two stuff about him. But because that performance against Brentford was just so bad, and when the team plays so bad, and you keep the same lineup, in a way you kind of like, because certain players need to answer for what they did, you know. Even with the goalkeeper, De Gea, if there was any good goalkeeper, I said dropped him because his performance was that bad. But I was very excited about the lineup, you know. It was still like unknown, you know, but it was good to have like Maguire of the team. It was good to have a Shaw of the team, and it kind of like gave us kind of like a little bit of hope before kickoff to say, okay, you know what, we got these new players, and these are players that he brought inside. So let's just see what they can do from that. But man, we're not like expecting a win, but let's see if they can give us that kind of like effort that we want to see from a team, you know. And my word, they delivered. They delivered.
Look, Edwin, when I was watching that game, obviously the atmosphere, I ain't heard it like that before. Like it felt like it was a Champions League game. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, I knew what was leading up to that atmosphere. You know, Casemiro got unveiled, for example. We did a Varane.
Yeah.
The protest before the game, even like with all of the crowds. You know, 1958 did the big sort of organization piece of work. Got the Manchester United fans together. They were throwing their yellow and green sort of banners and smoke out there, saying "Glazers out." Look, all of that contributed to this atmosphere. And you know what? It could have got real toxic if we didn't get a result today as well, because of the way how people were feeling. But anyway, what was your thoughts before I get onto the whole like lineup thing? What was your thoughts on like Casemiro getting announced like that, like the Varane? Do you feel like it was as a tactic to diffuse the fans, or what was that all planned? Or what was your thoughts on that? That little mark? I don't know.
I don't know if it was to diffuse the fans, but I feel like it was just probably there. Maybe but also to like just raise the kind of atmosphere and just, you know what I mean? Because everyone was just down. Like everyone was just like, this is finished. We haven't been getting any good players. There's not been a caliber. So to get someone like him after the position we're in, it is a big signing. Whether people say he's 30 or not, he's won a lot. And to be honest, when we heard we were linked to him, we were like, nah, he's not coming. You know how it is. But then for him to be there, and I think it was just to get the crowd wild up and just to show like, okay, cool, we're actually trying to fix the problems, because midfield's been a big problem for a long time. So this is the first time we've probably had a proper DM since when? For like forever. Think about the last time we had a proper DM. You can't even, like, I'm not even thinking Roy Keane days. Like even a bit after that. Like, it's been a long time since we've had a proper DM. We've had players that played there, so I think it was a bit of both, because, you know, there's a lot of things going on in the background, but yeah, I think they were aiming to get the same atmosphere they had with Varane, because, you know, like in Spain and that, when they have unveilings, it's different, like players will be doing kick-ups and stuff like that, but that one was more like, okay, this is a new era, we've got a new signing, like, you know what I mean? So I think it was just to get the atmosphere and the fans, like, just roaring behind, because as you saw, in the first 2 minutes, just off a little tackle and barge, the crowd were going crazy.
Martinez went boom on Salah, and Salah was just like, wait, okay, what's going on? Like, he's holding his hands up. Like,
the crowd was going crazy. Like, imagine that. The crowd's going crazy just for the supporters are going crazy for barges and tackles. So you just see, like, we'll get into the way they played, but yeah, I think the signing is a good signing, and I think it was just there to kind of just bring up the atmosphere.
I feel like I want to comment and go through every player, right? But I'll need to do it in a quick fashion, because obviously I know that we don't want to long out this video. So if we can sum up our thoughts and ideas, and generally, like,
maybe do it in two sentences, each player what you thought.
Yeah. Let's try and do it, and then obviously we talk about, like, we can integrate how Manchester United performed as well on the key attribute, like what we noticed different against Brentford, or how we've even played in a long time. So let's try and integrate it. So let's start off with David De Gea. So
a quick sentence. Poor last performance, but improvements, and you could see they made changes in regards to no short passes. A lot of it was long balls for him, just to save him any trouble. But a more sturdy performance.
NK, what's your thoughts on David?
I mean, he had an okay game though, but it was still kind of like sad that the players, like the centre backs, when they were in trouble, they couldn't pass it to him. It still shows that they don't trust him, but man. So I think like in the window, they can get someone to come inside the duel, because we play on the counter. It kind of like suited how we want to play. This game suited him, but going forward, it won't be the same going forward.
I noticed as well with David De Gea, his distribution is still a bit iffy. I don't know if he can ever improve that distribution. There was times when he came out of his box, like to clear the ball, which was helpful.
He done well with that.
He done well with that. You know, was an odd time where he punched the ball out where it looked a bit critical in the box, but I do feel like Erik ten Hag's looking at Kevin Trapp, because we've been linked with that German goalkeeper Kevin Trapp as potentially a guy that challenges David De Gea or even displaces him, because that distribution just doesn't seem to be consistently enough improving. But let's move on to Malacia, the Don Malacia. Edwin, give me your thoughts.
Okay, there's a quick thing, right? It showed that he should be starting. Lots of energy, aggressive in his play, looks comfortable, looks confident, and is not afraid of big names.
I respect that. You know what? Yeah, let me touch on that as well. So Malacia, right? I don't know why he's been holding bench. If that game against Liverpool don't give Erik ten Hag justification to start him and just bench Shaw, I don't know what will, because Malacia was the shadow. He was the shadow. He was glue on these fullbacks. He was the glue. You understand? He was blocking, like Trent, Salah, all of these guys. He was just handling them, pushing them back. You understand?
Even against Brentford, even though we had a poor performance, he still played well. Like he's recoveries. He's like, you see when the ball was about to go out, for a corner. He blew back, quickly knocked it out for a throw in. It's just these little things in terms of the hungerness is there. But NK, what was your thoughts on Malacia, man?
Well, look, the thing about him is like he's one guy that I've kind of like watched in the past, and this game kind of like showed like what he can do defensively, because we didn't see what he can do attacking wise, and which we are going to see once we play against the low block team. We're going to see how useful it was. But it was very, because obviously people always talk about Shaw when it comes to Salah. Shaw always pocket Salah and all that kind of stuff like that. I was very amazed by him, what he did, because when he didn't get sacking, he didn't get kind of like sacking. He made sure that he was always compact and organized with the fullback. He knew when to go and when to stay inside too. He knew how to position his body to show Salah exactly where he wanted him to go. Yeah. So that was one of the things that I think, because that's one thing that anytime you see Luke Shaw, he doesn't position his body well. He always allowed the crosses to kind of like come through. But Malacia wasn't doing that. He and not just So he done amazing. But like literally the way he played, really, really good. Kind of like helped the whole defensive organization.
Very mature. Like above his years, like in terms of playing.
100%. Look, Martinez, man. Lisandro Martinez. I'll start it off as well. So for me, I'll start it off quickly. So Lisandro Martinez is showing why we need a left footer on the left side, because I saw many times when he was spraying the ball out to guys like Elanga, out to guys like Rashford, and it was comfortable for him. We saw his passing range. We obviously saw him comfortable when he drifted to the left. He was very comfortable in that position. He's a guy that sniffs out danger before it becomes danger. We see him like making those last ditch tackles, positioning himself in the right place. Look, Martinez has got that aggression, but it's been said before, got a controlled aggression. He's not the guy that you're worrying about getting a red card. You understand? He's always tivering on the edge. He riles up, he gets under the skin of the opponents, and that's what we lacked, that grit with Martinez, man. And I feel like that partnership that he had with Malacia was impenetrable, even though we conceded one. But what's your thoughts on that, Edwin?
I'll keep it quick and short. Solid performance, strong. Even though like he's short in height, like in terms for a defender, he was winning a lot of aerial battles. A lot of aerial duels. Headers. 100%. So I think with him, his positioning is good. And what I like about him compared to our other defenders, I've realized when our defenders have a bad game, they have a continuous run of bad games. Like, you know what I mean? The defenders. Like that's Lindelof, Maguire, a lot of people, right? But he had a bad game last game, but he came and just literally turned up. Like his passing, his distribution, even the block on the goal line for Bruno, and then he done this other block in the box where he tackled and he jumped, and we haven't had a defender. I think
block.
We've got neat defenders, right? But we haven't had a rough defender that would jump in front of everything.
He gives me the Varane. He gives me the Varane with the Varane composure, but he gives me the Bailly aggression. But it's but the composure and the brains.
Yeah. So I think it's a good contrast, and I think they worked really good together.
Thank you.
He was really poor for me. I was joking.
I was about to reach in this.
Bro, choke slam, blood.
I'm joking, man. You know what? Most of the time when I come onto the program, I always say that, you know what you do in the opening minutes is cool. You know, how you get on the crowd on your side here is very kind of like key. If you make a mistake, you affect the crowd. If you make a positive thing, it impacts it, but man. From the first minute, you know, when I think it was Salah, he went there, he had this kind of like thing. He was aggressive to Salah, and then he bashed Salah, and then Salah was laughing. But then he was so serious about it. He's like, look, today ain't gonna be about smiling, bro, man. I'm in business today, bro, man. And he literally set the tone. He literally set the tone for all the players at the back, because they knew that what kind of like,
it for his people back home.
Wow, exactly, bro, man. And I love one thing I like about him, like, he know how to sense danger before it become a danger, but man.
Yeah.
But before it become an issue, but man, you saw it. Anytime he seen a player on the ball, but he was aggressive there. He just goes in and try to like win the ball quickly too, but man. And the perfect example was that corner kick. You know, everybody was busy trying to go win a header. He is the first one to say, look, let me go on the line because there's a possibility that I might need to clear it. And then what happened too? He was there to actually kind of like clear it too. So that ability to sense danger before it becomes danger, I love that about him. And his fighting spirit, I think if he continue to do that, he will inspire all of the players to keep on fighting to get back with him, but man.
That fighting spirit, that Malacia, when I see them roaring at the crowd, like waving the fans on, like slapping hands, like I was just like, I know it sounds a bit young, but that is what.
No, but they actually looked, let's be honest here, they actually looked like a team that wanted to play together. Like you said, the little things like celebrating like blocks, like as before, they'll just be all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we've got to run through the players quick.
Let's run through the players quick, man. Who we on? So we
Varane.
done Varane, man.
Solid performance. It just showed that he's a better partner for Martinez. We just
Finish.
Yeah, again with him. Yeah, I did like what he was doing too. He was reading the game very well. You know, anytime and especially on his side because Diaz was very kind of like dangerous. Delors kind of like had him there, but anytime that Diaz was able to kind of like bypass Delors, he was there to kind of like stop him too, but man, and he was also being aggressive too when he needed to be, but man, communication was sure he was literally communicating for the whole centre back. So I love that kind of like leadership still that he brought there, but man, and he understood what you call it, Martinez. When he goes, he stays. When he stays, then he goes too. So that was a very good partnership, but man, I hope he stay fit for them to form like a good partnership between the two of them.
I agree, man. I felt like he was sweeping up really well. When I watched it back, I appreciated his input into the game a lot more than I did when I was watching it live. He's winning those aerial duels. He was sweeping up behind Martinez, sweeping up behind Delors, etc. like that. For me, he had it's hard to call man of the match, but we'll get there in the end. But he gave an 8-star performance. He needs to stay fit because we can't see Maguire back in this squad. Look, let's move on to Diego Delors, man. Edwin.
Keep it quick and short because of the time. Solid performance and just showed why he's the starting right back. Done well in terms of going forward. Probably needs to. He'll get better, I think. But done really well defensively as well. Like got back and pressed quite well. So he's a guy that you usually associate with going forward, even though like the fans are not necessarily happy about his delivery and everything like that. But we're associating with going forward. What we saw against Liverpool was his defensive abilities. How he pocketed Diaz was amazing. It was showing a bit of grit. You know, I associate Delors with someone being that's light, flimsy, do you know what I mean? Sweet boy. But he got rough and rugged. Do you know what I mean? And I need to see more of that. NK, what's your thoughts on Delors?
Yeah, you know, with him at the beginning of the game, I was what do you call it? I was worried for him because obviously preseason Diaz literally had him on toast in preseason, so I was worried for him. So I thought Elanga was going to play on the right hand side to kind of support him, but that wasn't the case. One thing I like about him today too was defensively too, like he wasn't rushed. You know, he wasn't rushed too. Like just like what do you call it? Malaysia too. He positioned his body too, and his recovery was very, very good too. Like even because I remember there was one time where what do you call it? Diaz went on the outside, and then he actually recovered to actually block the cross from coming inside too. So that recovery was very good, and I think this kind of like game, he kind of like let the fans know that I can be good defensively too. You know. So that I was very proud of him. The way what do you call it? He carried himself against Liverpool.
With the way the Glazers have been spending it, makes me feel like a lot of these guys thought, you know, my career could be on the line. I need to play for the shirt. Look, let's move on to Scott McTominay, man. Scott McTominay was in the fold. Edwin, what was your thoughts?
I'll make it quick. Much better performance than Brentford. Still, I don't think he's the person for the position, especially from now what we've got in. But he played much better, much better. Like he wasn't losing the ball as much. He wasn't doing too much. He was keeping it simple. So I would say, same way I'll get onto him when he does plays, but he improved heavily from last week. So.
I agree. I feel like his positioning was more disciplined in this game against Liverpool. I felt like he blended in. And that's not necessarily a bad thing all the time. I feel like sometimes that's a good thing, especially for a DM. I feel like he blended in. We didn't see like major clips of him. Do you know what I mean? But he was doing his thing. He was keeping the ball ticking. And for McTominay,
I think what was important, even though we didn't see that much of him, he was really involved in the pressing. So his presence was available, even if he wasn't on the ball. So I think overall his game play was much better, especially in comparison to last week. Yeah,
I would have gave him a solid 7. If we can get that from Scott McTominay week in, week out, I wouldn't complain. Do you know what I mean? Just do your thing quietly. NK, what's your thoughts on Scotty?
You know what? The game we played, it kind of succeeded because we actually had 30% of ball possession, so we didn't really need him to do a lot of the job on the ball. It didn't
feel like that, you know.
Yeah, it didn't. That's the thing. It didn't feel like that, but we actually had 30% ball possession, so it wasn't a game where we really needed him on the ball. But even when he had the ball, he was actually very calm on the ball, very composed to the ball to actually like make the right decision too. But what impressed me the most was his discipline, and I kind of realized why Oli used to kind of like play him a lot, because you don't see what he does a lot, but he was blocking a lot of like the the passing lanes. He was blocking a lot of the passing lanes. The way he was playing, Fabinho literally struggled to get into that pocket space where he normally like to operate and kind of like get a ball. He wasn't getting into the game because Mctominay was literally covering that space too, and also too he wasn't getting drawn too much because Milner kept on shifting to the wings to go kind of like double up on Delo. But Mctominay was just so good that he wasn't getting drawn to Milner. He stayed in that position so that Liverpool don't have that kind of like right in front of the centre back that they wanted to play. So he done his job very good off the ball. I was very impressed with him. Very, very impressed with him.
Quick yes or no, only a yes or no. West Ham, I hear, is rumoured to be interested in Scott McTominay for a loan. Do you let him go? Yes. Or do you keep him? No.
Definitely let him go.
Edwin?
Yeah, I think let him go and get a replacement.
Okay, let's move on.
But if it's up to him and Fred, I will rather Fred go and then he stay.
Let's not start this debate. Well, let's move on to who was partnering Scott McTominay. Okay, we're talking about
Eriksen.
Yeah, let's go on for Eriksen then. You got obviously Eriksen, you got Bruno. Let's start with Eriksen. Look, for me, Eriksen, he had a calm game as well. I would have given him like an 8, 7.58. I feel like Eriksen, the way how he can pick a pass is different to Bruno. His accuracy, his precision. He's someone that is a natural number 10 for me. He's someone that is not confusing and makes you like Bruno, where he can play supporting striker. He can play out wide in a wing. Yeah, Eriksen can do that. But for me, like Eriksen is a complete, like he's a typical traditional number 8, and that shows, and number 10, and that shows in how he protects the ball, how he distributes the ball, how he always like picks the right pass more times. You know what I mean? Certain times he was off, the odd time he was off with the pass, but more time he's finding his man. And we'll get onto Bruno as well, but you don't sometimes find that with Bruno. Do you know what I mean? And what I noticed about Eriksen a lot is that he was getting stuck in. He was getting back a lot of the time, man. He was there getting stuck in, putting a leg in, closing the passing lanes like Enke would say, applying pressure. And that's something that I didn't even expect from Eriksen. Do you know what I mean? And he did that until maybe he did that for about 60, 70 minutes before I started to see him kind of decline and fall off. So for me, Eriksen, man, he gets a thumbs up from me. What's your thoughts, Edwin, on Eriksen?
I think I think out of him and Bruno, you can tell he's the more natural footballer. So I think he doesn't have to rely on goals or assists, but just his general gameplay, like his interlink of playing the ball, just his control, his calmness. So I think, like we've seen, he will always play well. Like he may lose the ball sometimes, some passes, but I think what I like about he brings a calmness to his game. He doesn't rush. He doesn't rush the ball. He doesn't get like flustered. He doesn't overdo. You know, when you're having a bad game or you're struggling, you try and overdo stuff. He will just play his game to the best he can, isn't it? So I think you'll always get a sturdy performance. And we just got another one. And to be honest, when we did sign him, I didn't think he would be starting as a much, right? But looking at it, we definitely need him in the squad, and he showed why we need him starting. Like
100%.
And he looks, like you say, he showed other elements of his game, like getting back, getting stuck in. He's actually got that gritty side of him, and I think he's got a good balance. He brings a good balance to the squad, especially in midfield.
100%. NK, Eriksen, man.
Yeah. As you said too, man. It was a game that required all players to like be running and to begin starting. And you know what? Right before the game, I actually saw a stat, which I was very surprised about, that in the last 2 games, Eriksen has actually covered more ground than any player out of the United player, which I didn't actually kind of like, because the way he plays, it's very hard for you to kind of like notice that he actually move around a lot. But like against the Liverpool game too, again, just like what Mctominay was doing too, he was actually going out there to kind of like be in that kind of like space where Salah would normally want to operate inside. He was there, so he stopped those players to kind of like coming into the area too. When he had the ball too, he wasn't forcing it. He kept on very, very kind of like simple too. The manager trusted him, man. The manager kind of like trusted him, because even I think when Sancho went off, he moved Eriksen to the 10. But as I said to you, a lot of the players after the 60th minute, you can tell like they ran their socks up. They were just tired of, man, and he was one of them. He kind of like got gassed out of it like in the end. But overall, man, he should be proud. I think in our last like 3 games, even the ones that we lost, he has been like one of the players that can kind of like stand out in terms of like consistency, like with his performance, really.
I think Eric Ten Hag, like obviously with his signings, we've talked about Martinez, Malacia and Ericsson. I think they're really good signings. So I'm trusting the process in terms of what he's doing to bring players in. Obviously, we wanted to get players in earlier, but I'm trusting the process of the players that he's bringing in. So hopefully it all comes good. Look, Bruno Fernandez, man. Bruno Fernandez, the guy that splits fan opinion. I'll start off with Bruno Fernandez. So for Bruno Fernandez, in my opinion, I felt like he had a really good game. I feel like with Bruno Fernandez, right? Again, he's one of those persons that when he came to Manchester United, he was the star man. He was the superhero. He was the one that was lifting us from the mud. He was the one getting all of the goals and all of the assists for Manchester United. What we've seen now is a guy, yeah, that basically is blending in. He's being more of a team player. He's not looking and saying, "Oh, like I'm gonna be the one that's doing all the heroics." He's not looking at looking for guys like Ronaldo, even though Ronaldo wasn't playing. He wasn't looking for that one guy and just doing that crazy pass. And maybe that helped because Ronaldo weren't playing. But he was a guy that was trying to play that teamwork type of football. Do you know what I mean? I saw times where Bruno lost the ball, and he will try to especially in the first half. And what he'll try to do, he'll try to fix that. Like them days when Rooney and Scholes would lose the ball, they're charging back, trying to win back the ball, and that off the ball work rate of Bruno Fernandez is key, man. He's tracking back, he's doing a lot. So hopefully he starts to contribute more on an offensive style, man. So, fingers crossed with Bruno, man. NK, what's your thoughts on Bruno?
Yeah, I mean, he was a captain yesterday, and I felt like he gave a captain's performance, Again, we had 30% ball possession too, so the way we played kind of like it suited him. We didn't have a lot of the ball, and we had it too. He kind of like moved the ball quicker too. He made one or two mistakes too, but so did a lot of the players too. But man, to me, what I want to see is when we have that 17 ball possession, how he's gonna kind of like look after the ball, how he's gonna be able to kind of like create relationship with other players on the pitch too. But as far as yesterday, the game with Liverpool was concerned too, I felt like he was actually one of the leaders too. But man, he ran his socks off. He worked hard for the team. But man, you can't ask more of the captain of the team.
Edwin?
I think just to keep it quick because of time, Bruno, I think, is starting to realize that he needs to stop thinking he's the star of the team, and he showed it today. He actually played part of the team. He usually tries to score the goals or do the extra pass. So solid performance. He's done a lot of running, a lot of blocking, and he tried. He actually tried. He tried to show that, okay, cool, I don't always have to be the star. I can just be a member of this team, that unit. So I think it was a good overall performance. I've had my critiques about him, but I can't complain about his performance. He didn't do anything that wrong, apart from nearly scoring an own goal, but
yeah.
Apart from that, good solid performance.
And he lost the ball right on the 18 too, in our half too.
Look, let's try and rush it through because obviously there's too many players to talk about. What I want to say, let's just probably talk about your key standout player. Then let's talk about your key standout player, and then give your man of the match, obviously, because
should we go through the last three players with just one?
Yeah, we've got 3 more players left.
You sure? All right. Then
we'll do it quick.
Jump to Elanga.
So Elanga, I feel like solid performance, should have scored, but I don't think he's ready to start. I think he probably needs to go on loan, me personally. But he done well, but I do think in terms of the attack, you could see he needs more minutes. He needs to, but good performance overall, but I do think he needs to probably go on loan. I don't think he's ready to start in the top 3, especially with what we've got.
I think he's got work rate. I give him that. I think he shows heart, passion. He should have never missed that chance. I know he took it well, like he hit it well, and it was unfortunate he hit the post. But I mean, you've got the whole open goal gaping at you. I feel like he should have put that in. And a game like Liverpool, I feel like he should have put it in. But overall, man, he did okay. But I don't think he's ready to be starting, man. I don't think so. NK.
Yeah. All I'm going to say is that the way we played the first half, it needed him. The way we played the second half didn't need him. And the manager made the right call, taking him off at halftime. That's all it is. Should have scored a goal though, but to me, that's what it is. First half, she said him. Second half, no way, bro.
NK. Sancho,
I was impressed with him. Not necessarily. He took his goal. But it was he took forever to score that ball. I was just saying, just do it too, bro. So so the build up to the goal was very, very good too. I was very encouraged by his position because he wasn't actually on the wing. He was actually like in the middle when he scored the goal too. But to me, what I was really impressed with him wasn't even. It was off the ball. He was working hard for the team, and he was tracking back, which I didn't see from both wingers here. Now, last 2 games, but man, so to me, off the ball, the way he was tracking back here, it was very good. I think his fitness too is suffering too, because you can tell he was the first one to kind of like come up too. So fitness one, he still kind of like need to build on to be used to that kind of like intensity too. But I was impressed with him, not necessarily like him scoring the goal, but him working hard to support the team defensively too. I was very happy about that.
Sick. I mean, we ran 8 miles before this game anyway. I don't know if that had anything to do with the fitness. Edwin, what's your thoughts on Sancho?
I'll keep it quick. Good performance, took his goal very well, showed calmness. I like the fact that, like you say, he was tracking back a lot. And I think he was doing a lot what he'd done at Dortmund. He was just picking up pockets. So even though he was on the right, sometimes you see him in the left, in the middle. But what was good, even though he was picking different pockets, it never looked like he was out of position. You know, and I think this should give him confidence to, you know, keep on going. But yeah, good performance from him. Got his goal, and this should give him the confidence to push through the season.
That composure was crazy. I mean, I was biting my finger and I was watching that. I thought, you know, don't waste this chance. And the way he made the guys electric slide on the dance floor, it was crazy. And he put it in, so I couldn't be more gassed. Look, let's go to the main man up top, Rashford. Look, for me, Rashford, it was a guy that is going back to the old school Rashford. He showed glimpses of the old school Rashford where he'll dribble past 3 man. He took that shot on. He's trying to close down goalkeepers from the start. Do you know what I mean? Like he's got his goal, obviously, he took it well. Like that old school Rashford would have never scored that. Making the runs, would, you know, he's onside. The old school Rashford would have been offside. He's just showing a bit more effort. And I feel like he knew that it was a big game. He knew that he was playing against Liverpool. What was your thoughts on Rashford? Edwin?
Well, to me, to me, what do you call it? As you said, old Rashford, one of the things that we used to like about the old Rashford wasn't even about him doing the skills or scoring goals. It was his work rate. Rashford's work rate has always been one of the things that we used to like about him, and he kind of like lost that. But in this game, that work rate came. He never stopped chasing. He was literally chasing. He was pressing. I still feel like he lacked kind of like confidence, because in the first half, at times he had Van Dijk one-on-one where I felt like do him, but then he kind of like showed him more respect. So in the second half, I understood why he had to go on the left-hand side to his goal. But I was biting. I was so convinced he was going to miss. Because in the past few months, Rashford will literally like miss those type of like chances too. But when you play and leave space in behind, he's one of the guys, bruv, man. He wasn't one of the guys who took his goal. Question now for him too is, can you continue to do that going forward? Are you still going to be chasing when the teams play low block? I saw one thing I saw about him too, and together with Bruno, is that they keep on ignoring options around them too. He needs to learn that kind of like decision making to where to use other people like into his game too. But as long as the Liverpool game is concerned, he played exactly how we needed to, man. And hopefully it will do his confidence like a big massive, man. He needs that, man. He really needs that.
100%. Edwin, what was your thoughts on Rash? Quick one.
Strong performance. Like you said, we saw glimpses of the old one. He looked more confident. Like you say, he was running. He looks fitter. He looks like he's concentrating more on his football. And I think I hope this is the foundation, the springboard for him to have a better season. But yeah, overall, he led the line well.
I think Rashford in particular is very conscious about whether he, you know, because obviously we're linked with these wingers, Gakpo and Anthony. I think him himself is very conscious, and Langer too are very conscious about their future of the club. So hopefully that's giving them a bit of fire. But yeah, you know what? Let's get on to now the man of the match. So I'll kick it off with the man of the match for me. Yeah, you know what? Lisandro Martinez got a lot of stick. Got a lot of stick about his height. You saw the memes coming in where they compared him with other defenders and literally put like his head shot and his chest alongside all of these guys. Yeah, for me, it was a big disrespect. And obviously got hauled off by Erik ten Hag against Brentford. It wasn't a good look, and it even had me worried, thinking like, is Erik ten Hag had an epiphany about the Premier League? Like, hope he plays him again. Like, what's going on? So for me, like, he showed up. I think he saw all of that and said, you know what, it is smoke for everyone. He showed up. He was winning the aerial duels like we said. He was winning the balls on the ground like we said. He just gave a 10 out of 10 performance. And for that reason, I mean, it was close because it was between Malacia it was between Varane. The Law gave a good performance, but do you know what? Even Eric Ten Hag, man, like, was just bossing it. But yeah, I'll give it to Malacia, man. Edwin, who's your man of the match?
You give it to Malacia?
No, I'll give it to Martinez.
Oh, okay, because you said Malacia.
Did I? Sorry, I give it to Martinez,
Yeah.
but these men have an honourable shout out.
Yeah, I'll like I say, shout out to the whole team, because if we talk about the team overall, everyone pressed, everyone done their job. Shout out to Ten Hag, he made some difficult decisions and it paid off. But you know, like I'll give it to Martinez as well. It's like after that 9 days to change the game, and like NK said, he set the tone. Like he just barged Salah. Salah's not like that type of player that you want to really get violent with, but he's like, you're the star player, boom. Like dropped him, barged him, and just set the tone.
Yeah.
And that got the crowd like went back in every time we were aggressive. So I think he helped set the tone. For the defense, and then the whole team kind of just followed that lead. So yeah, I'll give it to him. Like shout out to him, man.
Shout out to De Gea as well. I missed him as well on the analysis as well. No, actually we touched on De Gea. Yeah, we touched.
Yeah, it was the first one.
Yeah. NK, man of the match.
I'm inclined to go with the manager, but obviously everybody go with the player, because I like the way that, first of all, he set up tactically with the team, you know, pull Rashford up top to kind of like exploit Liverpool weakness, which is like leaving behind this total football, man. Literally this total football to play on the counter, but man. So that's a pop to back. You know what? Everybody's going with Martinez too, so I'm gonna go a different route, and I'll go with Rashford, man. I'll go with Rashford. It's just simply because of that work rate that he put inside. I think he made more sprints than anybody else on that pitch too. And I think the way he played in the first half, it helped the team. You know, it helped the team, like the way he was like constantly pressing from the top, chasing. Like it helped the team too. And then the second half too, that moment when he took the goal, the team needed that. They needed that. We can do all the fighting from the back, but in terms of winning, that goal to take it, the pressure, the time that he had on it, Alisson coming.
Every second was pressure.
Bob, every second was so crucial, but man, watching the replay, there was one guy who had his hand like that on the finger, man. So that alone, yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to him, especially because he have had some tough time too, but man. So I'm gonna go with that. I still kind of like expect for him to do more though, but I'm just gonna simply give it to him just based on like the effort side of him, but man.
That's crazy because so many guys performed well, man. I didn't expect that from you. But you know what, right? Can you believe that Manchester United is in a crisis, at the biggest crisis, and we're sitting pretty above Liverpool? Not pretty, but we're sitting above Liverpool. That makes me just feel that little bit better. Do you know what I mean? And the stick that I was getting from Liverpool fans before this game, saying they're going to skin us alive, they're going to do X, Y, and Z to Manchester United, they're just silent now, and I love it. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully we can push on, man, because it's going to be a new challenge, a low block team, Southampton now. New challenge,
I've got to give a shout out to as well, because, you know, I've been, even through his bad times, I've been a big Martial fan and always thought he still had a lot to give. I feel like when he came on, he done well. Remember, like I've been saying, like Martial can still do well, but I thought he done well. The assist.
We didn't talk about him in it because he came as a sub too.
Yeah. The assist to Rashford and just these little touches where he was picking up the fouls, where he's dribbling past players.
He's got the quickest feet, you know. His feet,
and he looks. And what is nice to see, he actually looks happy. Even when if he was in the bench, they showed him they were clapping. He looks like this could be a big season for us.
I see him literally cheering up the crowd.
Cheering up the crowd after he got tackled. Yeah, the ball went out. So I think it could be a big season for him and Rashford. And I think they had a good pre-season. Just unfortunately, he got injured. But yeah, shout out to him. I hope he gets the chances he needs.
Yeah, and you know what? The second half needed him because, as I said to you, the first half, Rashford was getting that one-on-one with Van Dijk, but he wasn't taking advantage of that. And you could tell that the manager kind of like spotted that, and then she's like, we need someone in the middle to kind of like hold up the ball and kind of like bring the wingers into it. And he came there, that assist, it was just so beautiful. The way he just kind of like touched the ball, dribble Van Dijk and just set up Rashford, that ball, Rashford, like it deserved an assist, but man, and well done to him, but man, and well done to the manager for bringing him on at halftime. I expect him to start against Southampton, man. Definitely expect him to start.
Even the Van de Beek, he nearly even set up Van de Beek. Remember when he turned the defender and then he nearly passed it through. So
yeah, he's on it, man. I think he's on it, man. Yeah. Look. I feel like the. Sorry, Edwin, go on.
No, I was just saying that. Look, I feel like, yeah, man. Do you know what? He looks sharp. He looked sharp.
He looked very sharp, man. And I feel like it's peak for guys that it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen long term. You know, the guys that was on the bench, like we mentioned earlier, because this team, like no fan is going to be happy with any changes that is made to this team, like whatsoever, because of how they perform. Do you understand? So any
Casemiro.
See, this is the thing, because obviously Casemiro, you're definitely coming in. But in terms of
because of the way the season is, like he even said, there needs to be a lot of changes. So everyone needs to be upbeat because there's so many games. The World Cup's in November. Like we've still got, but remember we still got Europa League. We've got lots of games.
Bro, you can do that, but Southampton, I must see the same team. Do you understand? I must look. I don't know who's gonna bring in the window, but I must see the same team against Southampton. Then we take it one game at a time, bro. Because if you touch this team, the fans are backing out the banners again. They're rioting as well. They're shutting up.
I would rather him swap Martial and Elanga though.
Yeah, I said it. I said I'll make 2 changes: Martial for Elanga and Mctominay for Casemiro. Man, I'll just do that too. And you know what? The two centre backs here. One thing I observed here when I watched the game, bro. Well, you know what? Both of them here, they got the ball, they touch it 1, second pass, it's release it. It's passive, but man, or sometimes just like touch it once, touch it 2, third pass, release it. But compared to a certain captain where he would touch it 1, touch it 2, touch it 3, and then play slow, but man, wow, it was refreshing moving the ball quicker, but man. But long may it continue, but man. You know what I say?
I'm not mentioning Maguire because he didn't play, and
we're like, doing a title challenge, mate.
Oh God. Look, this is the OT99 banter room where opinions are shared and smoke just got served. Let us know your opinions. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. We're on Twitter, we're on Insta, we're even on TikTok. Leave a comment, press the like button, support, follow, share, and all of that jazz. But until next time, peace.